It is very important. It's very important that you take care of yourself, especially now. You know, like people try to make you feel bad for engaging in self-care, just looking out for your own well-being, your sanity. You know, it's important to take care of yourself. Especially, like, I tried to take care of myself off and on, and it rarely goes well. You know, like I was going through a bit of a, I wouldn't call it an episode, but I was just really down. You know, I was real depressed and everything. And my friend suggested, because this is at a time in my life where I was not going to be able to afford therapy. You know, therapy was just going to be whoever was listening right now. And so my friend suggested, he was like, hey, I've been reading a lot about this. If you're around a pet, like maybe you don't have the means to take care of a pet right now, but if you're able to be around a friend's pet or something that boosts your mood, like releases endorphins and everything, you should try that. Come over to my place. I have a cat. And I was like, well, this is better than nothing, so I'll give it a try. And I went over. I had never met his cat before. But this cat, he always talked about how sweet it was and how it was like a dog and everything. Yeah, somehow, yeah. And so I get over there and he's like, yeah, just, you know, hang out with us. We'll watch a movie, let him sit on your lap and everything. And you know, I guarantee you'll start to feel better. And I was like, all right, you know, and I appreciate him even trying to help me. And so I was sitting there, and sure enough, the cat jumped up on the couch. And he was telling me everything the cat was doing while it was doing it and why it does it. It was just the worst version of David Attenborough I've ever seen in my life. Because the cat, first of all, the cat hopped up, and then he was like, he's trying to meet you. See, he wants to get to know you, like get your scent, suss you out, feel your vibe and everything. And I was like, yeah, I gathered that. I didn't think he jumped on the couch like, what? The cat jumped on the couch and starts walking around. The couch walks like top of the couch behind my head and everything. And I know I was depressed, but this was making me very anxious because the way the cat was stalking around me just felt like it was about to strike. You said this was a lap cat. You didn't say anything about like looking over my shoulder, reading my text messages. Sure enough, the cat hopped down between the two of us, and then he got on my lap. Started like kneading on my thighs and everything, got in a little circle and laid right down on my lap. It was very sweet. And we started watching the movie and everything. And then I was asking, because I've been through this before. No, I've been in this situation where people are like, no, my cat's great. You would love my cat. My cat loves when you pet him and everything. And then I come over and I pet the cat, and then 3 pets in. Like, first one, we're fine. Second one, we're good. Third one, I don't know what I did. But you would think that the third time I rubbed the cat, I said something about its mother, because the way that it pops up offended. And then people always blame me. They're like, you're doing it wrong. I'm like, I'm doing it the way I did it the first 2 times. There's no way that cats have a 3-strike rule. There's no way it didn't like it the first 2 times, but leaned into it, but then hated me the 3rd time. And so I was like, hey, how does he like the rubs? Is there something that he like specific to him, or just is anything fine? And he's like, oh, he likes when you start at the top of the head, you know, like scratch behind the ears and then rub all the way down. I was like, okay, sure. That's fine. Easy instructions. I think I can do this. I should be good. And so, sure enough, scratch the top of the head, scratch behind the ears, then rub his back. And it was nice. It was like a little rhythm to it and everything. And I guess he liked it enough that he started to purr. But this cat had this cat had the most bass in his voice I've ever heard in a cat. This is very upsetting. Because the cat didn't, like, I was expecting a little, like, meow, you know what I mean? Like, just something subtle. This cat, like he didn't move, but he almost moved. Like it was so deep. He almost didn't get to the owl at the end. This cat, I'm rubbing it. And I'm not gonna lie, the second time I heard it, my hand stopped right where it was. I was like, nah, I feel like you making me uncomfortable right now. Because I was over here, okay, so I would scratch the head, and the cat started like really, like almost like standing up a little bit in my lap just to lean into the scratch more, so I was seeing his face, and I didn't like the face the cat was making. It's always satisfying when you're like scratching a dog and the dog gets like so into it that the foot get like uncontrollable. You're like, I'm getting up. It's always like cute because he's like, ah, you know, he like short circuits. This cat was like. And I could see his face, so I was like, should I keep going? Like, I feel like I'm hurting him. Like, it's like, no, he loves it. He loves it. It's like, maybe he loves it too much. This is upsetting. It's like, dog, I think you got a pet demon. There's no way that this is a cat. And so, it helped, but it didn't help. Yeah, I mean, like I came there depressed and I left confused about myself, about that cat. Because in my head, I'm like, what? Why would it make that face? You know, you go through this spell where you're like, what is it? And you also don't know where it comes from, because I'm sure some of it was like where I was in my life in the moment. Some of it was like, you start doing something, like even in the pursuit of comedy, you start doing something with the hope that one day you can do it well enough that more people can enjoy what you do than just you. You know, that's like the hope for every creative endeavor. It's like, obviously, whether you paint, whether you act, whether you do music, whatever it is, it's like you make this thing because you would like it to exist in the world, and then you hope that other people enjoy it. And along the way, especially when you're starting out, especially when you just don't have that thing yet where you can close the gaps and put it together to bring something that's real to people, and you're in the pursuit of that, you can lose confidence sometimes that like, maybe I'll never put it together the way that I would like to. And maybe that's a little bit of where I was at. But a lot of it was being broke. A lot of it was also being broke. It's like, yes, I want to do my art and do it better, but man, that's a lot of grilled cheese for dinner. That is a ridiculous amount of grilled cheese for dinner. And so I even, you know, thinking about it, self-care, how do I take care of my physical health, my mental health? I was like, I'll meditate. I'll start meditating. That'll be good for me. Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts in my head. It always feels like there's a bunch of noise in here. I'll meditate. I'll clear the noise, right? And so I thought to myself, okay, how do you meditate? I went to YouTube. I watched a dude meditate, and I was like, he really just had the camera on him and didn't say anything for 10 minutes. He like low-key took it too literal, and he just meditated. Like his thing, the video said how to meditate, and then it's just on. I thought it was a picture for a minute, because he was being real still, and he was just. And there was a part of me that was like, did he fall asleep? Like, and so I was like, okay, I'll meditate. So then I bought a book on meditation. I was reading the book about meditation. And then through the book, I was like, okay, these are the things to do. And especially when you have a thought, we're so busy. We're so deeply we're so deep in it, we don't even realize the way that we've made our mind busy feels normal. And it's not until you go on vacation that you realize, like, oh, I don't, like, when I live like that some of that noise is just extra. You do have to do things all day, and you do have a world and a life keeping you busy, but some of the noise is like manufactured from the phone or from the several screens, whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to meditate. And one of the main things they talk about in meditation is that you cannot beat yourself up when you get distracted from your meditation and your mind starts to wander. You just notice your mind wandering, bring yourself back to the point of not wandering, and then hold on to that moment for as long as you can, right? And then you'll start to think about stuff, but just come back. You'll be fine. And eventually you'll get so good at not wandering that you'll really have like a calm mind. And it won't be every day, it won't be all the time. But when you put your intention to it, you'll have a calm mind. So I sat down, I'm going to meditate. Okay. I tried to like crisscross applesauce my legs, and I was realizing, I was like, my right going to fall asleep. I don't know why I'm not as flexible as I should be. And so I was just sitting, put my feet together and everything. And I was like, okay. Just breathe. Just breathe. Just think about your breath. Hold on to the ideas of your breath. Just think about how you're breathing. That's how you stay present. Every breath is important. Being present is important. Don't think about anything else. Don't think about how we left the gold standard, and so now there's really nothing but fear and anxiety backing up the dollar and the sort of like weighted debt system that we live in, because it really is the only thing holding us together, is like the expectation that it can't possibly fall apart, because if it ever fell apart, it would fall apart for everyone. It's basically like our economy, our government is holding a gun to the heads of us and every other nation at the same time. And if we at all stop this thing, if we ever stop this machine from running, maybe we could like release ourselves from the idea of this like economic, like, if we're being honest, like an economic enslavement to the dollar and to the ideas behind the dollar, and we could end up in a better world, a world where like maybe you could actually work with some sort of meritocracy for both your efforts and for your work. And if we got there, if we were able to do that. I wandered and I made me go, okay, all right. And so I went ahead and I stopped meditating. I stopped meditating. Maybe I'll start again one day. But I stopped meditating because it was bad for my mental health. At least the way I was doing it, because I was doing it wrong. It was basically just me crashing out with my eyes closed in a quiet room with a drippy faucet. Yeah. So then I was like, you know what I'll do? Maybe I tried to take care of myself, mental, inside, everything. But maybe I just need to go get a massage. That's what I need to do. But when you're young and things are cheap, you know what I mean? Like if something's like $8, you're like, oh, that must be a good deal if it's $8. I went to this place because they were doing a promotion. They basically wanted you to become a member, and the membership was like whatever, like $40 a month. But if you signed up, you could basically sign up after the first massage. And so the first massage, to get you to do it for sure, but still have something to pay the masseuse, the first massage is like $8. Right? So it's $8. $40 subscription. You could come in like twice a week or whatever, but like $8. I was like, $8? Okay. I'm sure I got a bunch of knots and everything. My back always hurts. Let's go ahead and get this massage. And when I tell you that this massage was worth $2. It was worth exactly $8, all right? This is one of the worst beatdowns I ever had in my life. I've literally squared up and lost before, and I didn't get beat up the way I got beat up in here. Because, okay, they clearly gave me the person who was like, you know, training or something. Because it's a room where you can hear, it's like three different people are all broken off in these like little stalls, but you can hear what's happening around you. And so I can hear the dude, anytime he speaks, I hear it, right? Because I also don't really understand the tiling and everything. I don't know what this place was. This is like clearly like a Mexican restaurant before it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm almost positive they kept the tables and I'm on one of those tables. Because the table was not comfortable at all. The table was built like a sturdy table built to hold a platter of food. And so I'm laying at the table, and I knew these weren't tables made for like a masseuse, because you know how when you lay in a massage table and there's that place for your face and everything? Okay, they didn't have that at all. They didn't have that at all. They had cut a hole in the table. They had cut a hole in the table, but they had just put these like kind of like plushy napkins around the hole in the table, so I could still feel how sharp, because they cut the table with carpentry. Like this wasn't smooth at all. And so it was a clean cut, but it was sharp. And so I'm laying there, you know, face pushed against these pillows, pushed against this like circle of wood. And you know how when they're training at a barbershop, the haircuts will be like $2 because like they don't know what's gonna happen either, right? I had my head down so I can only tell y'all what I felt. But once again, you have like my ears aren't covered or anything, and so there's music playing in the background, but I can hear his footsteps. And I don't know what goes into the massage because I didn't ask any questions, because I didn't. So I don't know if this is going to be one of those like Swedish or like hot stone or like whatever rub down thing. I just know that I paid $8. I'm getting like massage. And so I'm laying there, and then I said, I'm not even kidding. I'm laying there, and this dude is walking around me for too long. This dude walking around stalking me, all right? Stalking me like prey. And then this was not a relaxing experience, because the way he started the massage, like sometimes they start and they like, you know, like feel for certain points, like what, you know, what's tense, stuff like that. Or they touch you, you know, shoulders, back of the neck, something like that. This dude started. And in my head, I'm like, oh, so it's a fight. Like, that's crazy. The fact that the way you start is just to hit me in my back. You stalking around, hit me, kept walking, and I couldn't tell if he was walking because he was just walking in circles or if he had lost something. And so then, you know, he starts in and he's doing like the palm of his hand, working it around and everything. Like really putting it together. The man they gave me for the massage was a big man in every sense of the word. He was wide, he was tall, he was big and strong. He was too big to be on me like this, like full weight and everything, just pushing on me hard and everything. Don't put me through the table. This is terrible. And so then, and got no rhythm to what he's doing. So then I'm trying to figure out when I can breathe, because the way he's pushing me down, it's making my breathing sound bad. So then I'm just laying there, and then every once in a while I'm like, oh, and This is violence. This isn't a massage. He punching me slow. I've said something I should have said with my full chest and then had to start fighting. I've never been through this before. This man over here. And I guess I've gone like enough times. Because I'm trying to hold it together because there's other people in this Mexican restaurant massage parlor. They full of tables because it's $8 massages. So I'm trying to stay tough because everybody can hear me. Last thing I need is finish my massage the same time somebody finishes their massage. They're like, oh, that's him. Like, that would be terrible. They got us in stalls and everything, but still. And I don't want to say anything because nobody else is saying anything. Like, the place is full. There's other people in here. And clearly they have like a $10 massage because I don't hear any problems out of anybody else. But I was over here. Then finally, this dude, this is how I knew he wasn't professional. This man leans in, as you know, checking on me and everything, because they do this sometimes. And they're supposed to whisper because it's supposed to be a serene environment and everything. And instead of asking me, like, is that too much pressure, or would you like it a bit lighter, or are there any places you'd like me to focus on, this dude just leaned down next to me. And what was offensive too is that because I can see through the hole. You can always see through the hole, right? I don't have some sleep mask on. I can see through the hole in the ground, and I see his knee, so I can tell he's doing this. Like he's posted up next to me, and he leans next to me, and he doesn't check on me in a professional way at all. Just leans next to my ear and goes, "You good?" You good? And so I was like, I'm still not trying to back down. He goes, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm great." That was a lie. I was dying. I was absolutely dying. And then he goes, "Okay." And I think that in his head, that was like, oh, I always hold back for clients. I can finally let loose. And so now this man looked like he from The Blind Side, and then he moved on to my lower back, and he was using his elbow now. Man, just working elbow. I feel what has to be my kidney moving. I feel like my kidney went to the other kidney and was like, I'm gonna chill with you because things are terrible over there right now. There's no way I'm staying over there. So I felt something move, and I was like, oh! And I get, because this one was so like involuntary. I was like, oh! And then he, this time he doesn't even lean down. He leans over. He's still above me, and he's like, "You all right?" And I said, "Is that all you got?" And what happened next is completely unacceptable because I don't know. I tried to like extend some sort of grace in my mind of what happened next, because once again, this is like a starting company doing like a terrible type of Groupon promotion. I don't know. There's no way they're going to stay in business with this type of model. This is insane, right? And because once again, they have the oils and stuff like that. I know he was supposed to be using the oil because eventually I'm like, we both can't be dry, sir. Like this, this man is massaging me with hands that need chapstick. This is crazy. My back getting torn up right now. My back is on fire, old chapped hands. And so then I was like, "Hey, do you have any?" Do you have any oil? Because it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like my back's kind of burning, and do you have any oil? And this dude goes, I was more offended by this than anything. This man goes, I guess. And I was like, no, don't act like I'm doing something to you. This is part of it. It has the oil's here, which means it's part of it. Don't act like I'm some pervert, all right? This dude goes to get the oil, and to this day, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but I think it was because I heard a slight pop above me before it happened, right? But this dude, one of two things happens. Either he really didn't like me, so he just decided to do it, or he slipped on the oil. But this dude straight up gave me a people's elbow. Like this. I'm laying there, he goes to get the oil, he comes back, and all I hear is, and I knew he was on the ground because I saw his foot through the hole. This man fell and almost knocked himself out. I finally lift my head up out of the table, and I look over my shoulder, and he's getting up, wide-eyed. This man's eyes were so wide, it felt like he gave himself amnesia. Like he was just like, why am I in a massage parlor? I'm a linebacker for the Ravens. There's no reason for me to be here right now. This is crazy. And so then, this dude stands back up. He's clearly shaking. Because by the time he does my legs, he's like barely touching them. He's just like, and he did this thing. This is the other thing. I knew this dude wasn't professional because I'm positive he ran out of stuff. He ran out of ideas because you could hear him whispering to somebody else where he's like, I knew he didn't know what to do with my leg, because by the time he got down the leg to the foot, he was holding the back of my foot, right? And he just wiggled my leg. I was like, nah, dog, you don't know what you're doing right now. Sir, don't wiggle me. Don't you dare. I'm a grown man, you're not gonna wiggle me. That's crazy. You try to do some self-care as a man and then out here getting wiggled. That's crazy. Oh, I was furious. I was so mad. The only thing that calmed me down, right after I got wiggled, I got so mad, and the only thing that calmed me down was the fact that this place, this massage parlor / former Mexican restaurant, this place didn't pay for premium on the Spotify. So then I hear an ad for Casper mattresses in the middle of a cool running brook. I was like, you know how down bad you have to be to have like 8 customers in here and still be like, we can't swing premium yet. It's crazy. There are like 8-hour-long uninterrupted videos of cool running brooks on YouTube, and you still, whatever. And so then he lifts my leg by my foot, and has it like bent over like this, stretches me like that on the table, and then gets to the toes, which I didn't need him to do. But this must be his specialty because it happened so fast. I didn't even get to say anything. I was about to be like, hey, you can leave the toes alone because I'm also ticklish. And so the last thing I need after the hooves is to be like, I would die. I would die if everybody in here heard me and then hear me. But before I can say anything, this dude got my leg bent over, and then he starts like to, do something to my toe. And in my head, I'm like, he too strong. He gonna snap my toe right off. And to this day, I've never felt this sensation again. This dude, sometimes a masseuse will do something to each toe and everything, then move on to the other foot, do something to each toe. This dude went and popped all my toes. It was the only thing in the massage where I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Wow. No, this is really good. Like, that's crazy. I feel like I could touch the rim now or something. Dude lifted my other foot. All my toes popped again perfectly. I was like, he really does this as a technique. This was worth the $8, sometimes you have that thing where you're like, oh, I had a little cramp, stomp it out or something. Dude popped all my toes. And then after he did, my back, my legs, my feet, he came over to the side again. So he's like on the other side of the table. And I should have left, right? But he's like, I'm gonna turn around, flip over, dog. And I was like, that. Come on now. You couldn't hit me with a sir, I'm a paying customer. Flip over, dog. No decorum at all. But here's the thing. The back, I thought he had ruined me, right? And then the legs, I was like, he doesn't know what he's doing. But the foot, I was like, that worked. Maybe he knows something else. Like, maybe I'm just fishing. So then I go ahead, I flip over, and then I'm laying there, and then he, is doing my arms and everything. And he's like massaging my arm. And it felt like he was like learning in real time. I was like, this is not that bad, Like even with the shoulder, he was like doing a little bit of stretching and then like stretching over and then like massaging while he was stretching everything. I was like, maybe he's just a front masseuse. Maybe he just shouldn't do backs. Like, this is really good. And had my arm over and was like, doing a bunch of stuff. To the point where I was trying, relax at everything. Even had my head in the table hole. I was really trying to zone out. This is like the massage is ending, it's half back, half front and everything. But he was doing such a good job on the front and he seemed to be so well versed at it. I was like, I wonder if the book, he just read the first half and the first half is front or something. Or he like dropped out of masseuse school, but he was real good at front and they were like, you gotta learn to do backs. And he was like, let me do my thing, right? But, flip over and everything, and he's doing so good on the arms and stuff. And just when I had faith in him, he grabbed my hand and just wiggled my whole arm. And I was like, right before the wiggle though, right before it happened, it was such a stark difference between massages that I was like, maybe this is a different guy. Because I've been having my eyes closed as I flipped over. And so I opened my eyes which is a huge mistake. Because then for the rest of the massage, neither one of us knew when to break eye contact. Like, I'm just laying there, eyes open, while he's over here. And then he walks over, and he's like massaging, like a little bit behind the ear and everything. But like, I don't know why I did it, but like my eyes followed him. So now we're just looking at each other. And in my head, I'm like, blink, blink, blink. Break eye contact, please. He comes over to the other side, does the other arm, and I could tell that I made him uncomfortable. Because after he wiggled the second arm, he just let go. He was like, that's it. And so I walked out to reception, right? I was out there with reception and came out and they were like, how was your massage? And I was like, yeah, it happened. Definitely happened. They were like, are you good with everything? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Just, like to pay real quick. And then they were like, do you think you'll be getting the membership? And I was like, I'm good. I'm all right. And they're like, okay. All right, it's a good offer. And you come in twice a week, $40. The add-ons are half price. You sure? I was like, I'm positive. I'm good. And they're like, okay, well, that'll be $8. Would you like to leave a tip? Hey, here's my thing. If I'm being honest, in my heart, I wasn't sure I wanted to tip. But I also knew that with both of us living in Chicago, at any time this man could come and find me and massage me. Okay. I don't know if y'all heard about that dude in Wisconsin that faked his death and maybe moved to Europe. If you haven't heard about this, great. Okay, so basically, what we know is that supposedly there was a man who faked his death and might be in Europe right now. And he has a family, right? 3 kids, a wife, and everything. And one thing we usually don't do as men is give a man the credit that we owe him for being the new bottom, like the new lowest common denominator. Like, as men, we need this man. We need him, all right? Anytime you mess up as a man, when there's a man near you who has messed up worse, you'd be like, hey, I could be that guy. Next time you forget a birthday or something, be like, baby, look, I'm sorry I messed up. But you know what I didn't do is fake my death and move to Europe. Some people do that. I love you and I would never. If I die, it'll be for real. I'm a good man. When I die, it will be of an ulcer or something. You know what I mean? Something where you've really held the pain in, didn't talk to anybody, didn't try to do anything about it. Real man stuff. I'm going to do what men are supposed to do. I'm going to support this family, not go to therapy, hold it all in. And then one day grab my chest like, and you'll know that maybe we should have left this one argument alone, right? Because I would never fake my death and move to Europe. I've done plenty of things, plenty of dumb things. sometimes I'm just like having a good day, not really paying attention, and then you come in and you haven't had a good day, so you're telling me all the things that happened in your day that were not good, and instead of listening, I'm just sort of nodding, right? I'm just sort of nodding and being like, different versions of like tasting something when you're telling me a story. And then you catch on that I'm not listening. So you ask me, what did I just say? And then I say, what did I just say? And you can tell I haven't been listening. And I know I should listen. I know that you're telling me this to vent because you trust me and you want my input on your day, right? I know that I let you down, but you know what I didn't do is fake my death and move to Europe. I'm not saying it makes me a hero, but it definitely stops me from being a villain. Oh, as men, that's one of our favorite things. When you mess up, but then somebody messed up next to you and it's way worse. You know, it's like when you go out to eat, go out to a nice dinner, you know, you take your lady out. And you're having a good time and everything, and then something comes up, maybe it's a little annoying, and maybe you start to like bicker a little bit, you know, just like at the table, in between the server checking on you, just a little bit of like, well, you don't even know what's my, you know that. Oh yeah, you know that good whispering, you know that in between your teeth, not here. You know, you got both on edge and everything, so you in between the teeth, and she's over here saying everything, but just at that level of like half miming, half voicing, just like, I'm just trying to keep things together, okay? I'm just trying to keep the whole family together. Server comes up, is like, can I get y'all anything? Oh no, we're fine. It was a good night. How are you doing? How's your night going? And it's tough, you know, because you'll be in the moment just bickering. And then out of nowhere, a couple next to you, the next table over, that haven't been bickering, the couple that you look at like, why can't we be like them? She stands up and she throws wine in his face. And she's like, what do you mean your mistress is pregnant? And now all of a sudden you're like, I'm pretty good, right? Like I'm a pretty good guy? Huh? Can you give me that? I didn't do all that? Like, you got the white wine, you wouldn't have even stained my shirt. Like, I would never put you through that, what those strangers are going through right now. And so it's good. It's good to have a new low as a man. You know I'm telling the truth. You know sooner or later you're gonna be in an argument and you're like, fine, all right, I'm no prize. But I'm here, right? Huh? I'm not in Europe, am I? I talk to you when we have a problem. I talk to you like a man. I don't hide my wallet on the shore. Yeah, this guy apparently faked his death and moved to Europe. And like, there's a lot of layers here. There's a lot of things to unpack, because let's also not pretend that there's never a reason to fake your death. All right, before we pass full judgment, I'm not saying this dude isn't a piece of shit for doing what he did. I'm saying that like there are reasons in life to fake your death. I'll go over some of them right now. Y'all look like you don't believe me. That's fine. Okay, back in the day when I was in Chicago, I was hanging out with some friends. This is like about 5, 6 of us, right? And one of my friends, we're all in our like early 20s, by the way. One of our friends bought a yo-yo. And like gentlemen, none of us mentioned it. None of us were like, we are out here trying to get the ladies and you brought a yo-yo. You bringing the whole vibe down. And he brought his yo-yo and he was doing all the tricks. You know what I mean? You know, making it sleep and then popping it back up like a superpower. You know what I'm talking about? Those like... Because he had the one that had the like little acrylic with the lights. Yes, it had the lights and the little acrylic sound like it would do the like when it was at the bottom. And if you ever want to hear the sound of women leaving, it's that. And so he's like, and then he was doing around the world, and he was doing all the like walk the dogs and stuff like that. He was really good if you were 15. And so then, you know, he finally does one, and it comes back to shoot up, but it passes his hand, and it hits him in the face, right? And he's hurt. He's hurt. Okay, you ever been hurt so bad that you couldn't make noise? It hit him, right? And instead of even screaming, he just was like, oh. It's that hurt where you just have to slap something to like transfer some of the hurt while you're hurting. It didn't hit him and fly. It's in his mouth, by the way. Like it's stuck. We're still looking at it. He didn't move it. It's where his mouth should be. It's just a yo-yo, and he's like. And then he spits out the yo-yo, and a tooth flies out with it. And if he had faked his death, I would get it. If he was like, I need to start over from here, I would understand. Like, I really do get it, how people get to that place where they gotta fake their own death, because this was very hurtful and embarrassing. Or just a guy, I saw this guy online, and he had this weird energy about him, and it happens to dudes sometimes, and he was like that dude at the club that shouldn't be at the club, and I don't mean like he's old or something. I mean, he has an unsettling energy where he's trying to be more fun than anyone knows that he is. You know what I mean? Like, you know that guy that's like, whoa, but it's like no woo is happening. We've all been around that person, like, yeah, and it's like, but it's a barbecue. I don't know why you are trying to bring all this extra. And so that's what he was doing. He was in this club. He's like, yeah, woo, woo, and like, there's not even that many people there, so there's nothing to lay cover. There's not even enough noise for like his energy versus what's actually happening, because people are just kind of casually dancing, and he, yeah. And then there's a woman that is like near the stairs, right? And I don't know what the stairs lead to, maybe the bathroom or something like that, but this woman is near the stairs, and she's like twerking along the wall, and she's like really got it going, like she's very good, right? And then this guy walks up, and he's like, yeah, and he like slaps her ass a couple times, and then starts doing this and everything, and then goes to go down the stairs. But then, right as he goes to go down the stairs, his feet give up. His feet decide that they don't want to be a part of him, right? And so, rather than walking down the stairs, this man trips with both his feet. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. This man trips with both his feet and then rides just his knees and shins down the stairs. And when I say rides, I mean, like, have you ever been on a sled? It's like that. It's exactly like that, but without the sled. He's just riding down, Home Alone style, just... And he's screaming, and you can barely hear him scream because the music is loud, but he's screaming so because he's riding his knees and shins down every step. They did not miss a step. Every knee hit every stair, and his shins hit all of the stairs. And so he's like, like a bird, right? Screaming like a bird the entire way down. He hits every step. And for some reason, I don't know why he thought it would help, but he's holding the handrail the whole time. And he's like, And if that guy faked his death, you would get it. You would be like, yeah, you gotta start over. You gotta start, I would say move to a place that doesn't even have music. Like you gotta do some different things. Move to a plateau. That's the type of, don't even have any elevation where you live because what if you have to go upstairs again? We don't know if you'll make it down. When I was growing up, I knew a kid who was dating someone for a long time. They started dating young, right? And it was very sweet. And it was in the same, how do you put this? It was in the same way that like you hear grandparents tell stories about falling in love. Is how he fell in love. Because he said early on, I'm gonna marry this girl, right? And he had to have been like 18, something like that. I'm gonna marry this girl. He said it early, right? And he did the thing that we look at as like the most romantic thing possible. Buys a ring within a year, but doesn't do anything with him. Waits years. I bought the ring when I was 19. We're dating. We're 23. I bought the ring years ago because I was sure. I know, right? And they have their little fights and stuff like that. They have little spats and stuff. But then one day he decides, like, yeah, this is it. And he takes her on a trip, right? And they go on a trip that's like kind of the woods. I don't know. They rented a cabin. But they have their little fights on the way and everything. And overall, it's a nice time, They cook. They watch a movie and everything, and he decides he's going to propose to her while they're sitting on the couch when they get done watching one of her favorite movies. They both cooked, but then he had a cupcake. He put the ring in the cupcake, and they were going to share a cupcake, and whenever she got to the middle, that's where the ring would be, he would ask her, right? He had the whole thing planned out, and he even had his speech planned out per bite, because he was going to take these little bites, and then, bite, ring, right? And so he starts it, and he's like, hey, I want to talk to you about something. Takes a little bite, passes it to her, and she's like, what? Takes a big bite. To say they're supposed to be sharing, takes an inconsiderate bite. Like this, like when you're a couple and you order something and they're like, can I have a little bit of yours? And you're like, sure. And then they slide a whole more than a little off your plate onto their plate. And you're like, you should have said half then. If you want half, say half. Don't say a little bit when you know it's half. Because you like my orders because I know how to order. You over here experimenting, trying to have an experience, and then you don't like what you got. Now you want half of what I have, which would normally be fine, but you said a little bit. If you said split, then we good. You say split, then we're splitting. That's what half is, splitting. You said a little bit, and now I don't even know what it tastes like because you didn't pick up, because mine came first and you went ahead and picked off mine, then took half when you got yours. So now I've had at least a seventh of the meal that I ordered that I think is good, but I don't remember how it tastes because it just sort of left my memory so fast. And so she's taking these big bites, so he got to take smaller bites, and he got to turn the cupcake when he passes it back to her to make sure her bites don't interfere with his speech, because now he got to hurry up the speech because the bites are too big. And so now he handing her the thing from the bottom, just bite this part. I'm almost done. And when he hands her what's basically a ring cupped in a little bit of cupcake to try to bite, at the same time that he says, will you marry me, she says, I think we should break up. And so if you want to fake your death, like that's kind of like the opportune moment to be like, oh, yeah, you want to break up, and I wanted to I'll be right back. And then just move to Europe, I suppose. But yeah, so this dude in Wisconsin faked his death, maybe moved to Europe, and the way he did it, this is my thing, okay. So, first of all, he goes on a kayaking trip alone, right? Which, to be fair, is very much missing activity. You know what I mean? That should actually be in the brochure. Hey, do you want to get away from everything forever? Come kayaking by yourself. This dude goes kayaking by himself, actually texts his wife on like the 11th, and it's like, hey, heading back, whatever, right? But then doesn't head back. On the 12th is when he supposedly would have capsized, or, you know, they think he may have drowned or something like that. They put on this whole search because by the 13th, his family hasn't heard from him. They're concerned, right? So they send out the search, and like a search of volunteers who search acres and search the water. They use sonar. They use all this technology to try to find this dude. And there's actually a dude that works with the organization that does the searching that tells the sheriff, hey, listen, this is weird, because I'm not saying if I can't find him he can't be found. I'm just saying I'm pretty good at what I do, and he either not in this water or he went missing somewhere else, because I know what I do. Like I'm very good at this, and we're not seeing anything. We're not seeing any signs, anything. And then, you know, sure enough, they decide to go ahead and look into a possibility of him maybe going missing somewhere else. They also run his name just to make sure, right? And when they run his name, they find that he went to Canada on the 13th, right? So, not missing, using his name, running his name so they can travel, maybe go to Europe through Canada, right? And this is where it starts to be clear that he does not know how to disappear. This is where it's clear he's watched a lot of TV but has not put in the work, because this is what this bonehead did. Okay, so basically, this man said that his passport was lost, because his passport's at home, right? Because I've disappeared, I'm missing, I might have died, right? But his passport's at home. What he did was he just put in for a new passport so that he'd have a passport to leave behind and to use. The only problem is that when they run your name, it's still you. What kind of dumb spy move is that? That's still your name. That's like getting pulled over and handing the cop a fake ID. You still in the car. Like this. And then they, you know, his wife goes through his computer and stuff, and they find everything. They basically find where this dude has like looked up how to exchange money into a foreign bank. He's looked up how to travel, how to disappear. And this is my worry. I have the feeling that this dude thought that he covered all his tracks because he put everything in the recycle bin. And then left it there. Like that, I genuinely think that's what happened. I think this dude was just moving files like, and they'll never catch me. I'm a mastermind. It's painful, right? So they find everything, and then his wife gives it to the police and stuff, and the police are like, oh, okay, yeah, this is pretty dumb, you know? They even find where he took out a life insurance policy for like, I think $375,000, something like that. And this moment was where I had a journey in how I felt about this dude. Because initially when I heard it, I was like, what a terrible person, right? But then when I heard about the life insurance policy, I was like, wait, maybe I'm judging too quickly. Because if this dude
if this dude is leaving a life insurance policy for his family, maybe he's just trying to make a clean break. Maybe this dude is like, look. I'm not a good father anyway. Let's at least part ways like this. Let me go ahead and get you some money for your trouble, and I'll go and I'll live in Europe and everything. Most dads leave for free. This dude, there's a high likelihood that this dude was like, let me break you off some bread, right? I'm going to start a new life. You could go through college for free. And then I saw what looks like, it doesn't look like he's tried to claim the life insurance policy, which would also be insane. That would be, I don't know much about insurance, and I don't like insurance companies, but that would be hella out of pocket to show up and be like, y'all, I died. I'd like the money from me dying, please. See, the policy says right here, if I died, this is how much whoever gets, and whoever is me and I died. So can you please make the check out to me? And so then I went back and forth. I was like, oh, maybe. No, actually, no, he's just a bad person. Just a bad dude. Faking his death, leaving his wallet, leaving his kayak, leaving his family. And then they find that apparently he's been talking to someone. He didn't just try to leave. Because that's another thing. When I thought he was just trying to leave, I was like, okay. It's not how you handle it. But some people, you know, they have an episode. They're like, I need to get away. I don't know how, you know. But then when I found out, like his family found out, that he left to be with some lover in Uzbekistan. That's also when my feelings sort of went up and down, because I was like, oh, you're not even doing it in some like I can't live this life sort of way. You know what I mean? Like you're not having a midlife crisis in that way. You're just trying to cheat. All right, no, I can't get down with this. But a part of me momentarily did feel bad for him, because I was like, wait, you met a woman in Uzbekistan. Oh, he's never been catfished before. This is my thing. I don't know if y'all have seen, you know, you don't have to tell me if you know what I'm talking about. We can all just act innocent. But there are, in this world, illicit sites. Illicit sites where you go to watch people the beast with two backs. And then in these sites are ads for local singles in your area. Or even better, ads for very willing women who would love to marry you in Russia and Uzbekistan. I think my man may have fallen for one of these ads. That or he's been watching too much 90 Day Fiancé, because like I feel like, come on now, how well do you know this person? And so now you faked your death to go to Europe to be with someone who might not even be real. That's wild. You gonna blow up your whole life for some text messages? I mean, really, how good are those texts? You know what I mean? No one found a picture. No one knows what this person looks like. They just know that like someone enticed him in some bad English. And now he's headed over there. And I don't know. I feel like you clearly have to be in a bad place to do something like this. You have a family, you know what I mean? You have people that depend on you, and you're about to throw it all away to go to a place I'm sure you can't spell. Because never forget, this man is an American. That's also what you have to keep in mind here. He over here trying to travel as an American, try to get help in English and stuff. People in Romania speaking Romanian. He doesn't understand it. He's like, I just need to get to Uzbekistan. Do you know how to go left in Europe? Now he gets over there. Who knows what life is waiting for him, you know? I'd like to think that this woman in Uzbekistan really does exist. And she's mad as hell right now. She's like, no, we were supposed to go to America. Are you serious? You can't live with me. Because that's what would be, you know, truly wild. If this dude comes back defeated. Just comes back to his family and is like, listen, y'all, look. I know what I did. I'm very sorry. Can you take me back? I've found, you know, a new life here with you. I just want to be back with my family. Because obviously I hope this doesn't happen. But it would be kind of funny if while he's missing this whole time, he comes back home and his wife kills him. That would like... That'd be crazy. This dude show back up at his doorstep and his wife already got the shotgun and everything. He's like, baby, no. He's like, baby, I don't talk to ghosts.
I'm very happy to be here and not at home in New York where I live, because I don't know if you heard, but New York City had an earthquake today, which, you know, would be terrifying if it wasn't already New York City. There's so much happening in New York all the time. It's fun to think about where everybody was during that earthquake, you know? There's a lot of crime in New York. Somebody was getting robbed during that earthquake. Somebody was in the middle of like, give me everything. Don't move! You know? Some people were in their apartment. Apartment shakes. Buildings are so old and decrepit, they're like, I knew it was going to collapse one day. I was just hoping I'd be at work when it did, but it's an odd thing, you know? Maybe somebody is visiting New York. They just got there, very excited. And you know that annoying type of, oh Lord, okay. Not talking about you. It just sounded like so much stuff. Like that, it's clearly more than one plate. Oh, but maybe somebody just got there and they're very excited. They're like, ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go get some street food. I'm gonna get an authentic New York hot dog. This is gonna be amazing. And then earthquake hits. And then they are covered in hot dog water. It'd honestly be the most New York experience they could have. Another thing, I think enough time has passed that I can talk about it without it being awkward. Like, one of the weirdest things to me about 2020 in general was, you know how there's bunker people? There are people that save up a bunch of money to build a bunker in different types. Some people build a bunker underground. Some people have a different location they're going to go to if things hit the fan and everything. Some people have like a whole site that they've built and stuff. And we've always, for years, for decades, made fun of them, right? It's something that started in the Cold War because they were so sure that the Russians were going to bomb us that they started to make bunkers, and it was a normal thing. Then, as those sort of fears started to disappear a little bit, it became less common. But then there were some people who were still like, guys, something's wrong. Some bad things could happen. So they made bunkers, but then they started making it with, you know, their personal wealth and everything. And we made fun of them all the time, you know? And then 2020 hits, global pandemic that affects everyone in every country. And almost all the bunker people were like, that shit ain't real. But you built in case the whole world. Can I go in the bunker? Oh, man. I've been thinking a lot about just the general power of marketing, of ads and everything. And I don't know about y'all, but I always feel like I'm smarter than ads. Like, I always feel like, that's an ad. I can see it. That's product placement. You can't fool me. You're not going to get me. That's an ad. And I always feel like I'm better than advertising, like I'm above it all. But I do have a bunch of stuff that I don't use, that I don't really remember why I got it. You know? And I think it's something that we need to pay more attention to, just the power of marketing, how influential it is, you know? Like imagine a world where you work at some sort of agency, right? An ad agency, whatever, some type of marketing agency. And not now, right? Let's go even further back to when people were paying even less attention to ads and they were served less of them every day, right? Let's say, you know, 70s, 80s maybe, and you're working at this agency. And you go in one day to work, just any regular day. And let's say you're like co-VP or something like that. You're high up there, right? And then you get into the building and everybody crying. You don't know why. People are walking out with those, you know, those cardboard boxes specifically for when you're fired. Everybody got one. Shaking, walking about, running out and everything. And you're like, what happened? And no one's even answering you. As you pass by people, you're like, what happened? They're like, oh! You know. And then you get to your office, maybe you share an office with somebody, and so you look at your partner and you're like, hey, what's everybody so upset about? What happened? Right? And then he's devastated. He's like, oh, it's horrible. One of our biggest accounts, top accounts, right? One of our top accounts, Kool-Aid, that some cult grabbed some Kool-Aid and they put a bunch of cyanide in it. They did like a mass thing. I don't know, the client is freaking out, you know. People may never buy the product again. We don't know what to do. This could be the end for us, because if they close, we close, right? And then you, being the brilliant marketing agent that you are, you stand there in the moment that this is happening, the day that the news has reached your office, and you're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's lean into it. They drank the Kool-Aid. It's just that good. You think about it. Any other product, any other time frame, that product would be done. You know what I mean? Like, a bunch of people killed themselves with Snickers. I don't know if we would all be like, you're not you when you're hungry. You know what I mean? That's the power. To this day, even after a tragedy like that, to this day, people be at the barbecue like, pass me some of that red. That's some good stuff, you know? And the thing about it is that on its own, it's not bad, right? On its own, you're just trying to sell something. You're just trying to make a buck. And maybe it's something that people will like. In an ideal world, all the marketing leads the people to what they want anyway, right? But it doesn't always work that way, because we found that the easiest way to make money is to make people feel like they don't have something, to make them feel less. So then if I'm less, maybe this thing will make me more and it'll make me enough, right? Because if we never feel like we're enough, then we always need a little something else, right? And that's how they make money. If you were always content all the time, no one would be able to sell anything to you, you know? And so on its face, it's not bad what they're doing. But when they're all doing it at the same time, and it's most of what you see, when it's ads all the time being like, you're not this, you could be this, you could be better, right? It just starts to make you feel terrible. It starts to make you feel like you don't matter at all. And I hope one takeaway that you have from the show, not just laughing, I hope that you walk away from the show feeling like you matter as a person, right? Because you do. It's very important that you feel like you matter, that you have influence, because you do, right? A world where you think you don't matter terrifies me, because it means that all of the little pieces, all the interactions that you're supposed to be having with other people are going to be missed out on because you think you don't matter, right? Like we all sometimes feel like a little cog, like a little bolt, just in a big piece of machinery, right? Because the bigger picture is bigger than all of us. But you are so important. Even if you feel like you're that little bolt, you're very important. It's not the same without you. I hope you understand that. You're as important as every bolt on the door of a Boeing plane. Because maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe at the factory when they were building the plane, you know, they didn't screw the bolt down all the way, so then the little bolt's like, do I even matter? If they don't care, why should I care? Then mid-flight, it's like, I give up. I don't care. And then the door flies open, you're like, oh! What the hell? Because you're the window seat. Oh. And now you got the CEO of Boeing, David Calhoun. It's important to say their names. No, it is. They always just get to move like these faceless people that don't do anything and then get to enjoy them. It's like, no, his name is David Calhoun, and we should all know it and say it and hopefully find him. Just to chat. You know? But no, he's stepping down, and I don't know. I don't like that. He's stepping down now, and I think that should be illegal. You shouldn't be able to go. You should have to stay until it's fixed. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy that you messed it up, and now you're leaving with a severance package, by the way, with a, you know, articles call it a golden parachute. How ironic. You get to leave, but you messed the whole thing up. You know? And I know he's not fully alone, but he's the lead. You know, when you're the CEO, you're the captain. You know? And he gets to leave? That's crazy. And he gets to leave richer for messing it up. That's mind-blowing. He should have to stay until it's fixed. This should be the last job he's allowed to ever have. Until it's fixed. You know? And if it closes, then no more work for you. And by no more work, I don't mean you get to go off and enjoy. I mean, you will not make another dollar for the rest of your life. You need some stakes to be in the game, you know? Because I had a friend actually take up for the process. I had a friend be like, but Josh, now that he's stepping down, someone good could step in. Someone that cares, someone that could fix the thing. And I'm like, are you brand new? Like, what? In what world is that going to happen? That's so crazy. I told him the same thing I'm going to tell you now. Imagine you're on a flight, right? Middle row, middle seat. You're not having a good life. And you're on this flight, and during the flight, you feel this incredible turbulence. And I'm not talking about those air pockets where you drop a little bit. I'm talking about you're hearing noises you've never heard before. It's just like terrifying stuff, all happening at one time. And it's not just like a little bump, bump, bump. You're swinging, you're slamming into things and everything. Those air masks drop down. You know, the ones that definitely don't work. I hate that part of the demonstration so much, by the way. They always put the thing on and everything, and then they're like, the mask may not inflate, but oxygen is still flowing. It's like, that sounds like something you'd say to a dead person. That's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. The mask may not inflate at all, but I promise it's still working because you won't be able to tell anyone it didn't. Mind blow. No, I swear. You know, but let's say that's happening. You're in it. They're screaming, people crying, people praying, people tearing up and everything. And in the midst of all this turbulence, the cockpit door swings open. And the captain walks out. And the captain doesn't walk out to say, hey, everybody, we have it under control. Please don't panic, right? Captain doesn't come out there to say, look, the PA system broke. I just want to tell you myself, we're all going to make it. We're all going to be okay. I'm going to make sure we make a safe landing, right? The cockpit swings open and the captain comes out to say, I've decided to resign from my position as your captain. It's been an honor, but I can no longer uphold the standard of this plane, and so I will be leaving. Wearing a parachute, by the way. He's wearing a parachute while he's talking to you. He's wearing a parachute while he's talking to you, because I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I know I messed everything up, but I'll be okay, okay? And then he jumps out of the already open door. No, shouldn't be allowed.
I've been reading a lot of history lately. I don't know why, but maybe it's because it's such a fraught time. Feels better to read history just to be reminded, like, oh, that was worse. You know? And you also get a real sense of yourself from reading about the past. You see the mistakes people made, so hopefully you don't make them and everything. And I was reading a lot about Juneteenth because Juneteenth is coming up, and admittedly, like, you know, I learned about Juneteenth pretty young, you know? And I can tell from the scattered clapter that a lot of you don't necessarily celebrate Juneteenth. I'll put you on game real quick. Here's the thing. I was reading about it because it's probably one of the most fascinating times in American history to me, because it was like the fulfillment of a promise in a way. America is a place for freedom, and it's a place for understanding yourself and building out an identity to be free with, right? And it's something that we were founded on, but something that took a long time to come to fruition, you know? And Juneteenth, by the way, is not a number that black people made up. That I understand it does kind of sound like that as well. Like, Juneteenth is a holiday, just so y'all know. Because sometimes, as black people, we do make up numbers. If you know a black person, especially in the South, you've probably heard them say 5011. And 5011 is, I want to be clear, not 5011. It's also not 5011s. It's just our way of saying too many. You know, you'll hear somebody be like, I told you 5011 times, take out that trash. And you know that a child is about to be whooped. You know? Or somebody will be like, he got 5011 baby mamas, and you'll be like, he is a slut. Now, they'll be like, oh, he think he's somebody because he got like $50, something like that, which is just their way of saying a lot. But it would be better to say the actual amount. Which reminds me, okay, this is digressing for a second, but this is very funny to me. One time, a dude from my hometown won the lottery, and he was calling everybody, telling them that he won the lottery, but he didn't win the Powerball. He just won some money, and so he was bragging, but he did. So basically, okay. Because he told me he told me he did this, but then he told me how much he made. I was like, you shouldn't have called anybody. That's not. That's not a stranger phone call flex amount of money. That I get that you won, I'm happy for you, but that's not the amount to be sending people off with. Because he called his ex and he was like, hey, looks like you fucked up because I just won the lottery, all right? You looking at the winner of $60,000. And I was like, that's salary. Like, don't do this. After taxes, that is $30,000, sir. No, but you know, Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a holiday to commemorate the slaves in Galveston, Texas, being told of their freedom and it being made official, right? And the weird thing is, there's a lot of misconceptions about when slavery actually ended, because a lot of people think it ended in 1863 with Lincoln signing the Emancipation Proclamation. But the thing with that is that the Southern states had already seceded. So to sign the Emancipation Proclamation and then send it and be like, y'all have to let your slaves go, but this is now another technically country that you are at war with because they wanted to leave the Union. That would be like if Canada was like, America, y'all need to recycle more. And then we were like, if you don't shut your maple ass up. Like, that's like... Because the South was at war with the North, this was to, you know, hurt the southern states that had slavery. And one of the states was actually left off of the Emancipation Proclamation because they had already taken control of it, you know? And it said nothing about any sort of slavery that was happening on the northern side. Like, the northern side isn't known for slavery, but there were people in the North who had slaves, right? And so then, 1864... I believe it was the Senate that passed it, and then the House passed it in 1865. And then they told everybody later. Really dragged their heels with that one. And this is the thing, is that if you really want to be technical with it, slavery wasn't actually abolished until the very end of 1865, like December 6th or something like that. It's just that Juneteenth, it's easy to barbecue in the summer. So we just take that one, you know. But it is a fascinating time in America because it was America fulfilling a promise that it made to itself since its inception. And so many people fought it. That's what's so crazy. Like, America was about to be everything that it was supposed to be, and then there were people that were, you know, standing in the way. And the thing that is, like, the fight for freedom in America, for every person, right? Because every person, no matter who you are, your ancestors had to fight for some form of freedom to be here. Everyone from every ethnicity, everyone from every background, you know, has had some sort of fight to get where they are now. Even the people who can trace their lineage back to the Mayflower, America still had to have a fight to be America. You know, we started out as traitors to Britain, according to them. You know, we were like, nah, we're gonna do our own thing. We're not sending you anything else. You know, we pay taxes to you, y'all don't even come over here. We like coffee better anyway. And this is the thing, though, is that you look at that time, and for every war that America had to fight to be America, to become America, the way that we understand it now, black people fought in those wars. You know, it's not talked about as often, but there were black people that fought in the American Revolution. There were black people that were fighting right alongside other white people in other regiments. Not every regiment was even fully segregated. And, you know, part of it was the desperation. We're fighting for our existence as a country, you know? And then we win, and then the founding fathers, everybody's like, yeah, we're free. And the black people were like, yeah, we're free. And then they were like, what do you mean we? No? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that an insane feeling? You fight for the place to become the place, and you don't get to be part of the place yet. And then
all the way up to the Civil War, for us to have a truly, deeply imperfect union, there was this battle that took place, and there were black people that fought on both sides of the Civil War, which is confusing. You know what I mean? Because the white soldiers, you can kind of see where they stand and why they stand there. But any black soldier fighting in the Confederacy, you are kind of like, what? 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 And I don't think anyone would have been more confused than a black Union soldier, because then if they meet in the battlefield, he's like, turn around. Now, it's important to understand that whether it was the American Revolution or whether it was the Civil War, on both sides, black people fought for promises. The same way that America made a promise to itself, it also made promises to every people of every nation that would come here, right? It's why people come from Ireland, from Italy, from all these places that immigrated, that came to Ellis Island. They came for that promise, and that was a promise that was also made to the black people that were already here. You'll be part of America, right? And so in some weird way, sometimes it was due to the threat of death, sometimes it was just to get off the plantation, sometimes it was with the promise of freedom. There were black people that fought in the Confederacy, and I'm pretty sure they didn't try that hard. You know what I mean? Like, if I was a black officer, I wouldn't have been an officer. I guess a black soldier in the Confederacy, I think when I shoot, I'd be like, oops. I missed. I hope he doesn't get over here and free everybody. That'd be terrible if they just ran up on us and started being like, you free, you free, you free. You know what I mean? Like, I would hate to get shot with freedom. You know what I mean? I've heard it's terrible, But yeah, and then, Juneteenth started out as just a holiday in Texas because it was about what happened in Texas. It spread to other states, other states that ratified the 13th Amendment would then, have more and more black people in those states wanting to celebrate Juneteenth. And once again, kept it Juneteenth, not because of when it was ratified in the state, because sometimes it was a different year, sometimes it was a different time of year, but June is good for barbecuing, right? But it was probably one of the most awkward times in America, because all of a sudden this thing had happened. There were people who made their whole way of life the terrible treatment of other people they didn't see as people. And don't be weird. I'm not saying that these were your slaves or something. Don't tighten up on me, okay? Everyone I'm talking about is dead, all right? Don't be weird. But this is my thing. I guess this is what I come back to. It's that time, how that happened, right? I just imagine, what would it be like in a household that had slaves, and now they're arguing. They're arguing in the kitchen or something. The couple that own the plantation. She's just like, Bo, what do we do? It's illegal now. We can't. It's illegal. We can't do this anymore, Bo. It's illegal. And he's like, what do you want me to do, Barbara Jean? What do you want me to do? You want me to go out there and be like, oops? What do you want me to do? What's the plan here, okay? All right, because we are outnumbered. Gonna have to handle this delicately, And you had to handle it delicately because for the entire time that you owned people, how'd you treat them? How'd you treat these people? Because they are people. How'd you treat these people who can see you now, who can speak to you? What'd you do? Did you commit some of the most heinous crimes of all time? Because at best,
At best, you never said please or thank you. So you're reasonably terrified now that they can, so they're just arguing in the kitchen, I imagine, just like, what do you want me to do? What's this? And then somebody who worked in the house overheard the argument and was like, we're free? I'm gonna let this marinate on the stove. I'll be right back, I promise. I'll be right back. Because what would that have been like? What would that have been like, the secret message going from house to house? We already had passageways for communication and passageways to escape slavery through the Underground Railroad. This message was getting around, right? We're free, we're free, we're free, we're free, we're free, we're free, right? So now someone in the house comes outside to the field and they're like, hey, y'all, I don't know how to tell you. Okay, I didn't think what I was about to say before I just sort of said, hey, and then, okay. I didn't prepare a speech or anything. Look, I know that we don't all talk much. Because I'm in there, y'all out here. And I hear what y'all say about me. It's hurtful. Like y'all yell it, so I, you know what I mean? Like but we're free. We're free to go. And then everybody was probably like, free to go where? You know what I mean? Because this is the thing about the 13th Amendment that is mind-blowing. It abolished slavery except in the case of the prison, right? And the practices that you could constitute as slavery continued way after slavery. There were sharecropping. There were all of these different little systems to keep slavery intact. It's why we have unpaid internships, Someone's like, but I'm white. Yes, even you. No. Just imagine that. Imagine someone tell you, hey, we're free. Because what would freedom feel like? You wouldn't know. And free to go where? Free to go kill them? I'm just joking. That would be fair. I was just... No, it's just, it's mind-blowing to me because, one of my friends, I grew up in Louisiana, so I knew about Juneteenth being so close to Texas, and it was celebrated in Louisiana from a young age. A lot of people try to act like they always celebrate it now, everyone's embarrassed to learn something, you know what I mean? Like, it's a true thing. You see people in New York that are like, oh yeah, Juneteenth every year for Juneteenth. I'm like, all right, maybe, but... all right. You know what I mean? But I had a friend down south. He's white, and he took like an ancestry lineage thing, and he did the 23andMe. And a lot of my white friends did the 23andMe and just so you know, just as white people, so you know, your black friends, we don't care. We don't. We don't care at all. Oh, you're more Swedish than Finnish. We don't. Never crosses our mind. We never, you know what I Just so you know. And I truly, a lot of the people that take the test, I don't think they care either. If I'm being honest with you, we're just talking as friends right now. I don't think they care. I think they even take the test just to see if they can say it. Do you know what I mean? Like they take the, because anytime one of your white friends is like, hey, I am actually 5% black. You're like, all right, why are you? I don't know, I just wanted to know if I could sing the whole song now. I'm just a Kendrick fan and I wanted to, see if I could. No, but he did the ancestry thing and he did the DNA test and he found through both that his family never, in America for a huge portion of his lineage, but they never owned or worked with anyone who operated in a way, they never owned slaves. Yes. And if you've never watched the white guilt leave somebody's body, this man was floating. This man was floating in waves. Just like, I'm too Irish to be bad.
I feel very thankful to be here with all of you because it's nice to talk to people who are gonna get it in a way. I feel like sometimes when I'm traveling and I go to places where, especially when I go overseas, and there are places that are not as engaged or involved with American politics, that there's a sentiment of like, we're just watching the show and y'all are like cast in the show, and so that it's very different to have a chat with you. Because I'll be very honest with you, it's been taking me a long time to distill the way I feel about what is happening in LA. Because what's happening in LA over the past couple weeks is it's insane to watch, because I have plenty of friends in LA and I talk to them daily and everything, and I also watch the news, and not maybe since COVID have I seen such distant realities. Do you know what I mean? Like such like completely opposite ends of the spectrum, what is happening and what is said about what's happening. And okay, because if you're watching the news, everyone in LA is dead. They've been dead for a while. The military came, but they were too late. Everyone is, in fact, I think the military dead too. Like it's really just a black hole of death that no one can stop, but somehow the reporters are reporting. And it is strange, because when they send the reporter out to cover what some people are even calling the riots in LA, the reporter, not every single one of them, I'll get to them, but the reporter is standing there while everybody else is standing there. And they're giving a very different report than what we can see behind them. A lot of people don't know this about me, but from the time that I was a child, because I grew up in Louisiana, my family and all the families around me were all affected by Hurricane Katrina. So I have very, very strong feelings about protecting journalists, protecting reporters, and not putting them out there with the weather.
because we see it. We see the weather, and I believe you every time. Whenever you say it's a hurricane, and I look outside, I'm like, that look hurricane-like. I don't then need you to send our local newscaster to hold on to a telephone pole while he tells us how bad it is. The way that these people will almost be horizontal reporting on the wind speed, it's like we don't need them as a visual test of what is happening right now. Everyone watching is inside. There's no one watching from outside like, seems like I should probably move from where I am now. No, I hate that. I hate when it's like weather is one of those things where I'm like, I don't know what the spin could be. like to a certain degree, I understand when a journalist, when a newscaster feels the need to go. What this shows right now is how many of y'all don't put your phone on silent. Like there's no, I know it is. That's crazy. Well then I will be quick then. Yeah. Okay, real quick. Just for a quick second. What flash flood? Oh no, the parade. Y'all. Don't do that. It's his birthday. It's not my birthday. But a great example, like a flash flood, and they'll put the newscaster in the water, and it's like, well, what we can see here, John, is it's another level of insane, because when it comes to the news and the weather, I don't know what the spin could be. There's a storm outside. No, it's not. Weather, as long as you're not talking about specifically climate change, is like the last bipartisan subject. It's like the last thing. There's no way that anyone hates, conservatives or liberals enough to see the rain and be like, but it's not. Like, that just doesn't happen. It's one of the last tethers to reality, and we make those newscasters go in it. These poor newscasters in Arizona look like they about to pass out. Half the reports they do talking about the heat. They got them over there, no shade. You can tell the budget of a newsroom by how they send the journalists out there, because sometimes they'll be out there and be like, Blistering heat today in downtown Phoenix. Temperatures reaching 111 degrees. Like, stop doing it. You know? If it's hot, we can feel it, and when you tell us, we'll believe you. You know? If it's a hurricane, this is one of the things that I have tried my best to be fair with, because you see people, and I really feel like this only happens here. There's no other country I know of where people proudly go out into the hurricane and like tap dance in the hurricane to show the rain that they're not scared. That's a distinctly American male thing to do. To be like, hey, ain't nobody scared of some water? Come and get me, and they're never seen again. I'm just saying, you don't really see that anywhere else. And I used to think that those were like the dumbest people in the world. But then as I got older, I was like, you know what? Maybe they just watched the news. And they were like, he's standing out there. And he telling me not to go outside. It's too dangerous, but he outside. What, he think I'm a punk? If he can be outside, I'll be outside. I'll be outside all I want. And then they go outside and then they're never seen again. But the thing with people covering LA and standing in front of whether it's LAPD or National Guard lined up and protesters a distance away lined up, it's a very different thing, because now they're coloring it for you, but you can see behind them. And it's hard to know what to make of it. Because when I talk to my friends in LA, they're like, you know, very chill. They're always chill, but like they're very chill in this specific instance. I called some of my friends because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not better than anybody. I fell for some of like the propaganda that was going on. I called some of my friends immediately because I don't know LA neighborhoods that well. And I live in New York, where if something is happening, it is happening to everyone. Thoroughly happening to everyone right now. You know? And so okay, I'm digressing for a second, but just as an example, one time there was all I can describe it as is like a tiny tornado of trash. It literally was not taller than this mic stand, but it was spinning because it was a windy day out and the trash wanted to be together, I guess. And so the trash spinning, and it's like, I don't know, I grew up like, you know, deep south and everything, so whenever I see one of those, I'm like, ooh, that's a bad spirit. Like, that's I get real superstitious real quick. If you a tiny tornado, if you an eye level tornado, I don't come near you, all right? That's a bad spirit. You got Dorito bags in you and everything. You got all types of disgusting stuff. No, I might get possessed. And so I was keeping my distance, but there were other people walking down the street. I actually crossed the street because I saw it up ahead. I was like, nah, I don't need those problems. Like, I like having my whole body, mind, and soul. I don't want some of it to be like Derek from 81st. You know what I mean? Like, that feel like who would possess you? Just somebody who like never had a job and burps as loud as possible. And so I crossed the street, but there were other people that were walking next to me that kept going, and they walked right into it. And even though I was across the street, I knew when they walked into it because my back was turned, and I still heard. I'm like, not walking into a Thai tornado with your mouth open. That's just irresponsible. And sure enough, that Thai tornado got like 8 people. Just being itself. Oh, if something happens in New York, it's happening to everybody. If one train is down, the city stops.
we get around it. People get mad, they get off the train, they run to work, they hop on a bike or whatever, they take a cab. But like, one thing happens, it has a ripple effect. LA doesn't seem like that to me. Like I've been in different parts of LA, and I thought all of it was like one thing. I couldn't have been more wrong. And so I was calling my friends as I was freaking out because I was seeing the stuff that was happening. Waymos. You know the driverless car that shouldn't exist? You know that thing that's just on the road and we all act like it's normal, but we're slowly acting out the plot of iRobot currently? You know that thing? Those were on fire. There were Waymos on fire. So I called my friends like, you not in a Waymo, are you? Oh, if you in a Waymo, get out right now. Because to be fair, we didn't really even know why the Waymos were on fire. Maybe there were people setting the Waymos on fire, but maybe the Waymos saw all the unrest and they were like, this is our time. One time I was with my friend in San Francisco, and a Waymo passed by, and he was admittedly very high. But he doesn't trust Waymos because the first time he ever took a Waymo was by accident, because he lost his wallet, his phone, like he got all his stuff stolen, right? And so he asked a friend to get him a ride home. Okay, so he gets the friend to get him a ride home. He doesn't know that friend used the app Waymo instead of like Uber or whatever. So then he's high in the story too. He's actually high all the time, but he gets into the car and he's like, a little fade, a little drunk, a little high. And then he gets in the car and then the car takes off. And so the way he told the story, I wasn't there. The way he told the story is finally he asked, for a little music. He's like, dang, it's quiet in here, dog. Can you turn something on? And he half nodding off anyway, but he's like, can you turn something on? It's quiet in here, dog. Like, let's get it popping, Can I get some? It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever you like, dog. Anything. Yo, I know you hear me talking to you. And then he said he leaned forward. This is how he tells the story. He leaned forward and saw nobody was in there, and then he started praying because he was like, "No, you know what? You know what? You know what, Lord? You know I haven't been right. I haven't been right. And if you see me through this, I swear I'm gonna change my ways." If you see me through this right now, if you deliver me through, I'm gonna leave the alcohol alone. I'm gonna leave the weed. He gets home, he sees his house, he's like, thank you, Lord, thank you. And obviously he was lying because he was high when he was next to me. But a Waymo passed by and he was like, that thing right there, nobody gonna believe me when I tell you, but that thing right there, I don't trust those things, all right? Let me tell you something right now. That thing over there, all AI, all self-driving, intelligence stuff, don't trust that thing. Believe me, that's a transformer. Look, all I'm saying, if I wanted to act out the plot of one of the Transformer movies, what would I do? I'd come down to earth as a bunch of driverless cars, keep it easy for a little while, and then one day, boom. Don't get in there. Don't get in one of them. You're going to end up in its chest. I'm telling you right now. And so I called so many of my friends. I was like, hey, are you okay? Are you good? And they were like, yeah, no, I'm fine. And they said they were fine with the annoyance of like They they said that they were fine with the annoyance that I have when my mom calls me to ask me if I'm okay. She saw that there was a storm in New York, and I'm like, no, it was just a bunch of trash spinning in a circle. It's not that serious. You worry too much. No, they were genuinely like, no, that's actually here. And they started explaining LA neighborhoods to me, and I'm not gonna lie, I glazed over. Like, I just... But once I knew that they were safe and that everyone I knew was safe, I was like, well, then where is this happening? I know a lot of people in LA. I've called a lot of people. Everybody is fine. Where is this happening? It turns out it's all happening over like, I think 2 square blocks. I don't even know. It's like, it's such a small area. It might as well be a movie set. And it's crazy because if you listen to, Fox News, some of these outlets, you would think that the entire city was burning right now. There are people sharing stories on Facebook, and the entire place is devastated. And the president said, if I didn't send the National Guard, they'd be in shambles right now. But then when you look at video, and I'm not talking about video from protesters, I'm not talking about video of bystanders of the protest. I'm talking about video of people in Los Angeles, 2 blocks away from the protest. There are people literally blowing bubbles. And there is no opposite to your city being on fire than bubbles. Bubbles are like a truly first world problem. Like, and they weren't even blowing bubbles regular. They were over here like, once you do it with your foot in the air, that's too much whimsy for your city to be on fire. Not blowing bubbles like, blah, 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 blah. Look at that. That's so cool. I'm talking about, And it is difficult when it's presented in front of you so heavily, an agenda with reporting versus just saying what happened. I didn't even know you could do that, by the way. It wasn't until I left the country and watched the news in other countries that you can just say what happened. Like when you watch the news in Spain, they don't even put a spin on it. They're just like, yeah, right there. They don't even try. This is what's crazy, is that the news around the world, they don't even try to be entertaining. They give it to you so straight, they don't even have good voices half the time. Sometimes there's a guy being like, yes, 2 people were found in the basement, and they said that they were trapped there by the man who lived there. Very dry, nothing. They're not putting on 2 people found dead. Like, it's... That's my favorite, by the way. I love when an anchor is like going out of a fun story to a sad story, but either they didn't get the stack of reports ahead of time, or they're just reading the prompter in real time, so they don't know that they need to do the tone shift, and so they just finish like promoting a shelter that has saved like 67 puppies or something. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that sweet? I mean, you just love to see stuff like that, don't you? Anyway, 15 burned to death in a fire. Oh. And then you see in their eyes that they're like, I already started high. I started up here if I drop it. And sometimes they try to drop it. They're like, found dead this morning. Don't act like you weren't talking the whole time. That was you the whole time. But you even see it in LA, because the misconception people have is that the thing that initially happened in LA versus like protesters and ICE and everything was like all over LA, was just all happening at one time, when actually it's around these very few square blocks. That's where all of it's like going down. I'm not saying there weren't protests in other places, but those protests went on without incident. It's here. This is like the main sticking point, and this is what they keep shooting footage of over and over and over again, and showing you over and over and over again from different angles, right? And they're so thirsty for it that there was one dude that had a Mexican flag, was on
a smashed up car. And you can see when you look at the picture that there are like 15 cameras surrounding the car looking up at him. And then everyone protesting is like a block down with nobody there. You know, because they're selling you a story. They're selling you a story about chaos that's unfolding and everything. And they even, will have the newscaster out there. This journalist is out there. And I have a lot of respect for journalists. They do an incredibly difficult job, and they have to do it under constraints that some of us can't understand. Because if you worked your entire life to try to get to the truth, and then you finally get a job, maybe it's not even a well-paying job, and you're allowed to tell the truth until like your newspaper gets bought. And then it gets bought by a guy that's like, the truth though. I mean, what is truth really? Just say whatever I tell you to say. But it is a difficult thing to distill for yourself, because you have to. You can't just, I'm not saying that there was ever some golden age where all of media was honest and forthright. I'm just saying that it used to be a little bit more simple. That you were even overdoing it if you checked, 3 sources to see if something was true. Because there are things that used to be delivered with a little bit less. You still had the bias of the outlet, but it was a little less political at all times, and there was a little less looking for the bleed. Here's what happened, and I said it in a sexy voice. That used to be American news. And now we've slowly become this more and more and more like corporate warped version of trying to do the news. News became entertainment. It became a show. And there's a show, it's entertainment, because they're not delivering you the news out of the kindness of their hearts. I'm not saying that the journalists that are doing the news aren't dedicated. I'm saying that the body, the system and the machine that we look to for reporting is just, they're trying to sell razors in between every disaster. Like, that should tell you something, Because you see the report, and you see people, chaos in the streets in LA. Look at everything that's happening. And then you talk to someone who's in LA, or you even just look at an Instagram story that your friend made on a random day who's not that far from the protest. And you're like, I don't know, they are loading up their car with Trader Joe's. That doesn't feel apocalyptic at all. Like, if you can get the sliced mango from Trader Joe's, I think the supply chain is intact. That's one of the first things to go. We don't even have mangoes like that. Oh, news says absolute chaos. And then you look at somebody's, just like legit, somebody's like TikTok that they're making. Not even about the protest, just that they're making. They live in LA. And while they're making this protest, while supposedly the city is on fire, they're finding parking. That's not supposed to happen ever. And one thing that can't be lost on us when we think about or talk about Donald Trump is the only thing that he's ever been successful in is reality TV. We don't know him from the steaks. We don't know him from the casinos. We don't know him from the vodka or the water, which was probably vodka. We don't know him from anything except truly reality TV. Even in real estate, it's like, okay, it's like a name, but I don't know anyone who ever lived on one of those properties. It's the TV. He figured it out. He figured out reality TV, and he's still doing reality TV. He's just doing it as the president. The mix of reality and TV is a different cocktail for every show. There are shows that are 10% reality and 90% TV, where if you took away the TV element, none of these things would happen. These people would know each other. And then there's some that are 50-50. Like, I feel like Love Island is 50-50. You know what I mean? Love Island to me is, because look, even if there was no show, these are the people who would be hooking up with these people. Like, this is... Every time you watch a cast introduced of Love Island, you're like, that seems right. Like, that's who everyone goes for that's in that group anyway. They all seem happy. There's never like a guy in Love Island that's like, so ladies. Just floating like an NPC. Like, it's always somebody with like 9 abs. And you're like, how do you get the extra? When he's standing up, when he's sitting down, it's very defined. You know, it's shows that are even mostly reality with a little hint of TV, just a little bit of producing to make sure it's polished enough for the people so that they can consume it and not be thinking about how they're on like a 5th episode of it, you know? And that's where Trump comes from. He comes from reality TV. It's the only thing that he's ever been really, really good at making, and that's what he's doing right now, reality TV instead of governing. Because if he were governing and he really wanted to be smart about it, this dude would do what he does best. He'd just lie. Think about this. This man lies about everything. And this immigration thing is the only thing he's like actually tried to do. It's very weird. Like, I just, it's a long walk, but stick with me for a second. As presidents go, most deportations have been going down. They were, I think, at least in recent memory, they were the last highest under Obama, but Obama did them all through the courts and everything. It wasn't just like a rounding up type of thing. And so then Biden had less, Trump even had less in his first term than Obama. And then now, Trump, right now, even with the show, has less than he had the first time. And it's weird to me because in the campaign, we were promised that there were millions. There were millions of illegal immigrant criminals. They were behind you. Have you checked your pants? They're in there too. They're under your bed. They're everywhere. You can't throw a constitution without hitting an illegal criminal alien. We were told that there were millions of them in the country. Yet somehow, when ICE really starts ramping up, because we're really doing this thing, it takes like a week before they were like, have you tried a school? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I can't find any. That's crazy. We got a couple that first week, but yeah, I guess there were only like 3,500 or whatever. I guess we're just gonna have to start going everywhere, and that's what they did. That's why it is the way it is, because ICE is over here trying to do these deportations, trying to grab people and everything, but I thought there were millions of illegal criminal aliens. Why are you finding them all at work? Like, I just had no idea that my local taco spot was specifically MS-13 tacos. I had no idea that Tra de la Ringa, the gang I can't pronounce, I had no idea that that's who was like folding the clothes at Kohl's. Like, that's, because that's what you've been led to believe. Every arrest is warranted. ICE is trying to do their job. All of this mandated makes sense. That's what you've been told. And the thing is, you need to make a show out of it, because even with all the chaos, even with all the footage, it's still less. That's crazy. Even with you going around the court, it's less. That's wild. That it's still less, even with all of this show going on.
Because what isn't a show, what's actually reality is that people are being ripped away from their families. And these are hardworking people. These are people that have been here for a long time. These are a lot of people who are actually trying to do the right thing as hard as they possibly can. But the system is slow and it's imperfect. And then they get arrested by ICE at the courthouse for their hearing. And all of this when Trump could have just lied. He could have just been like, yeah, I did it. Who would say he didn't? All of his fans would be like, he did it. He said he was going to do it, and he did. I don't even know when he did. That was so fast. Damn. Even Democrats would be like, yay, you did it. At least. The one time he doesn't lie. And so you have this ICE operation happening on these square blocks, these protesters clashing with ICE. ICE doesn't feel safe. They don't feel like they can make movements and everything. And so then, the LAPD comes, and maybe the LAPD was there the entire time, I don't know, but the LAPD is there, and Trump sends in the National Guard. Now, he can't send in the National Guard just to arrest people and crack skulls and everything like that. So what he does, he tries to get around it by deploying the National Guard just to protect these two buildings. But then they're there in case ICE feels like they need their help detaining someone or that they aren't able to carry out their operations, right? So, dangerous precedent, but whatever. So then Trump wants to send in the National Guard, which everybody, not every single person, but most people were upset about, because the LAPD, in case you're not aware from TV, from movies, or just from history, historically loves to whoop ass. That is their favorite thing. The LAPD can't stop whooping ass. They love, it's their number one. And so when the LAPD found out the National Guard was coming, I know they were probably like, but I didn't even get to. No, go ahead, send them. Yeah. No, you know what's best, send them in. No, you want to do it. And then the National Guard comes, and there's not a ton for them to do, because it's like 2 square blocks. No matter how many times they keep showing you the same footage over and over and over again of these things burning, of this 3 stores that got looted. They show you the same thing over and over, but it's just not happening that way. And it's not that spread out. People are finding parking in Los Angeles. And so the National Guard gets there, and they're like, all right, yeah, okay. All right, so there's nothing to do, and you deployed us without making sure we had a place to sleep. So then they're all on the floor. They're sleeping on the concrete with nothing to do, and everybody's mad now because National Guard isn't getting paid what the LAPD is getting paid, so now the LAPD can't whoop ass. National Guard here for no reason. And then Trump is like, send the Marines then. I know if you're in the LAPD, you're like, the Marines? National Guard had to be like, the Marines? Even the Marines had to be like, the Marines? And then LAPD just sitting there like, I just want. Is whooping a little ass too much to ask? But I know that it's very, very, very important to understand what's reality and what's TV, and not to confuse the two. And the way to combat reality TV being everywhere all the time is real connection with real people. I was able to call people or text people who were in LA that told me, no, I mean, there was parking at Trader Joe's. Everything actually pretty chill. And without that, I might honestly be like, I don't know, y'all. There were 3 Waymos on fire. I took it as a lesson. And I would hope that more people see the things that were happening in LA and make sure that outside of any news outlet you follow, outside of like any narrative that you make the choice to believe, because there are so many varying narratives for every event that you do have to make choices, that above all of those things, you will talk to people. Because talking to people is the real perspective that you need. When you talk to someone who's really going through the thing, no matter what it is, no matter what it is, even bigger than LA, even bigger than the protests, when you talk to someone, you finally get from their perspective right to the root of an issue, as opposed to whoever's talking over them. And I think that for me, talking to my friends, making sure that they were safe, let me know that this thing was not what it was being made out to be. Don't get me wrong. I think that something was starting in LA, and I think that thing is scary. I think that there's a push to make authoritarian moves and to see how far things can be bent and how much people can be pushed and pulled before they'll do anything about it. And I think that LA was a perfect test for that. Let's take something that's really just 2 blocks and let's make it look like it's the entire city, and we'll see if they believe us. Let's send in all the cops we have, then the National Guard, then the Marines, and see how much people want that, if they go for it or not. So something is happening, and I would encourage every single one of you to hold on to everyone that you know. DC is one of those places where everybody is from everywhere and everyone knows everyone everywhere else. And if you keep that type of like global community together, you'll have no problem, in my opinion at least, distinguishing what's happening from what's not. Because you'll have people that you can talk to, people that are really going through the thing in real time. I'm not saying don't watch the news at all. Sometimes they have newscasters on there who they put in the hurricane. It's very entertaining. Yo, DC, y'all been fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.